Get ready for an epic showdown. The fight for the village intensifies as brand new powerful siege weapons face a terrifying forest dragon. Don't miss a second of the action. The anime episode begins with Van and his friends still in the village, where Van managed to build incredibly sturdy walls in just 2 weeks, thanks to his strength and the villagers' help. Everyone is astonished by his ability to accomplish this so quickly, and he's not finished yet. He plans to build more houses as merchants and adventurers arrive. At this point, Lady Panamera approaches him. She has always wished to own land that she could develop as she pleased, so she decides that she will succeed in the next battle and gain greater glory than any financial reward. She resolves to ask for land of her own to develop. When she sees the catapults, she doesn't recognize them, so Van explains that they are mangonels, catapults, as he tried to create larger versions of the simple ones he made before. They are now designed so that the upper and lower sections can fire independently, allowing for 2 successive shots. He then orders Kamsen to test one. Kamsen fires the projectile, and the impact is extremely powerful. They possess over 100 mangonels. Panamera asks Van to name a price for one, as she wants to buy one, but Van refuses, stating they are not for sale. Panamera then suggests he give her one, and she will owe him any service in return. Van agrees, saying he will call in the favor later. However, he wonders how she will transport it along with its ammunition, as they are very heavy. Panamera decides to prepare a cart for the mangonel. Since the projectiles are made of iron, she figures she might be able to forge them in her homeland. Kamsen suggests she take at least 1 or 2 of Van's manufactured arrows. He then asks her to look at the swords Van made with him. She is amazed by their appearance, having never seen a sword like it before. It seems effective against armored enemies and shields. She then draws out her own powerful sword, which has accompanied her through many battles, and no one has ever managed to scratch it. Kamsen waves the sword in his hand toward Panamera's sword, but Panamera doesn't feel it, thinking he only brushed past it. However, due to the immense strength of Van's sword, Kamsen manages to slice her sword in half. Panamera is deeply shocked by what happened, and at that moment understands why Kamsen suggested she take some of Van's arrows. She asks him what material the sword was made from, as it wasn't just ordinary iron. Van informs her that the material used for the swords is the same as that used for the arrows, and these arrows can pierce 2 or even 3 of the armored lizards. Panamera begs him to give her some arrows along with the mangonel she will receive. Van agrees. Panamera thanks him and also thanks Kamsen for his help, as she will now obtain stronger arrows thanks to his advice. At that moment, a massive dragon suddenly attacks them. Ortho and his men decide to distract it to buy Van some time to think of a way to eliminate it. Van considers how to deal with the dragon without endangering Ortho's group, deciding to fight right there, but he hesitates because it would also endanger the villagers. Panamera tells him she will help, and since it's only a matter of time before the dragon heads toward them, they must do something. Van decides they should strike it with the mangonel. Today, they will fight a forest dragon that doesn't possess a breath weapon. First, however, Panamera asks one of the guards to accompany Arth to the village to protect it and have the rest ascend the walls quickly with her. At that moment, Van apologizes to Arth for constantly putting her in danger with him, explaining that forest dragons are powerful opponents, but this time they have upgraded mangonels, so while they might not be able to kill it, they will never be defeated. He then asks Till to escort Arth to the village, and asks her to summon D and his men. Till agrees and quickly takes Arth away. Just then, Ortho's group arrives. Van continues to think about what to do with the dragon, as flying enemies are a problem, and it would be a disaster if it reached the village. He quickly calls for Kamsen to prepare the mangonels, but instructs them to ensure they do not hit Ortho's squad. He wants them to aim for the dragon's wings to stop its movement. Before Ortho and his men reach their positions, one of his men falls to the ground. The dragon moves toward him, but Kosaba quickly strikes the dragon with a small stone to distract it so his friend can get up. They then run swiftly toward the village. At that moment, the guards try to shoot the dragon with arrows, but cannot hit it. Panamera decides to stop it herself. She is very powerful. The Count admires her, considering her young age and the title of Viscountess she has earned through her achievements, which undoubtedly means she is a first-rate elemental mage. Indeed, Panamera uses fire magic and casts it on the dragon, causing it to fall to the ground, though it is still alive. Van is impressed, as he had become somewhat arrogant after killing the armored lizards. But Panamera is on a completely different level. Van then orders them to fire all the mangonels at the dragon. They successfully pierce its wings and fire the arrows. We see some people survive the dragon's attacks. Van talks to himself, saying, "I'm glad everyone is safe, but we will be in danger if we stay here. I want to retreat to the village." Afterward, we see Panamera using her fire spear ability and throwing it at the dragon, but it has no effect. The fire strikes the ground, keeping the dragon occupied. When Van sees this, he remarks, "This is the pinnacle of fire magic. If she weren't facing a dragon, that power and versatility would be devastating." Panamera returns to Van and asks him, "I will go back first and prepare the defense." Van agrees, saying, "Go and we will follow you shortly." Afterward, Panamera goes to the knights, telling them, "Let's seize the opportunity and flee to the village." They escape quickly. We then see the dragon amidst the fire. Van speaks when he sees the dragon, saying, "It should have sustained serious injuries." Suddenly, Espada goes toward the dragon. Van calls out and warns him to come back, saying he won't leave without him. Espada tells him the dragon is causing trouble and asks to be allowed to buy some time this once, promising to return. Espada then uses his power to cause rocks to fall on the dragon, which will give them enough time to escape. Van tells him, saying, "That was an amazing phrase. Simply put." Espada gets annoyed because he is moving slowly, saying he is doing his best so they can escape quickly. Espada replies coolly, "Running is hard on these old bones, but I will do my best." His friend tells him to stay by his side, saying he will go and defend the village. Van runs quickly, talking to himself. "But the village is so far away. I run with all my strength, but it's still far. Ortho's squad is about to collapse too. I need to buy extra time or the forest dragon will catch up to us." He tells Panamera, "When the forest dragon reaches the walls, use your previous magic to restrain it. Then we will bombard it with the mangonels." Panamera replies, "That's a good plan. I didn't expect my magic to be used just for restraining an enemy." She apologizes to them and tells him she will share the dragon meat with them. The dragon emerges from under the rocks and heads toward them. Panamera then orders the soldiers to prepare to fire the mangonels. Van tells them, "I know this is frightening, but make sure you pull the levers back far enough before firing." He then talks to himself, "If only I could buy a little more time." At that moment, Dee's group rushes to him, apologizing for the delay. Van asks them, "Will the three of you be okay?" Dee replies, "It won't be a problem because we have the weapons you made." They attack the dragon but fail to destroy it. Espada and Panamera then use their powers to destroy the dragon. Van tells the soldiers to fire all the mangonels at the dragon, and they succeed in eliminating it. Van informs them that they have won and tells them to cheer for victory. Till comes to him and asks, "Are you okay? Weren't you injured?" He tells her he is fine thanks to everyone. Panamera congratulates Van on killing the dragon, saying it was a close call and that any other village would have been wiped out. Heroes like your butler Espada and Dee, who cut off the dragon's head with a rare strike, are truly rare. Van was proud to have called them his friends. Panamera reminded him not to forget his mangonels, given their immense power. She couldn't believe they pierced the dragon's scales. Van told her he would need to develop them further, and that they should be capable of firing at least 10 consecutive arrows. Now they needed to hold a dragon-slaying ceremony. Panamera informed him that the most distinguished person in the battle, the one who earned the title of Dragon Slayer, was Sir D. Van was surprised that D would be granted the title of Dragon Slayer. Van gathers the crowd and informs them that the Forest Lord, the Forest Dragon, was killed today, and they are here to honor the greatest contributors. He announces that the floor is now given to the head of the Cayenne family, the Viscountess Panamera Cayenne. Panamera tells the people that the forest dragon they killed today was capable of wiping out most villages and towns, and even most fortified cities wouldn't have lasted long. Yet this small village not only survived, but suffered no casualties. The damage was limited to a section of the walls and 2 mangonels. She then announces the names of the greatest contributors. The first is D, Vice Captain of the Knights of Honor of the Vertiu family, who cut off the forest dragon's head with a single strike. Next is the exceptional elemental mage, Espada. Finally, the 4th son of the Vertiu family, Van Vertiu. She praises his knowledge, decisiveness, and genius, which are rare for an 8-year-old boy. Furthermore, he used his magic in an unprecedented way to rapidly strengthen the village's defenses during the battle with the forest dragon. He took command and led their men to victory as the ruler of this land. Panamera then speaks to herself. She has met people from all walks of life while rising from a common knight, but has there ever been anyone like him? She explains that she was born into a family of knights in the royal capital, but quickly surrendered her magical aptitude to a fiefdom that offered the best conditions. The harsh training made her wish for death. She sacrificed sleep to study, striving to become a squad leader, and became the fief's knight commander at 16. Afterward, she fought many battles and gained enough glory to become a noble. 6 years later, she was granted the title of Viscountess. Then one day, Count Ferdinato summoned her, stating he wanted to marry his young daughter to the lord of a remote territory. Panamera introduces herself to Lady Arth and tells her that she will determine if the potential suitor is talented. If he is weak, she will reject him on Arth's behalf. Arth asks fearfully, "Am I unwanted? That they want to drive me from my home?" Panamera tells her that is not the reason, and asks if she knows that all her sisters are already engaged. Panamera speaks to herself again, recalling that when she left her father, she felt worried, so perhaps she projected her feelings onto Lady Arth, but her fears were meaningless after meeting this boy. The shy Lady Arth begins to take the initiative. Scene change. Van celebrates with the people. Panamera speaks to herself, thinking this boy is a breath of fresh air she has never seen before. She then announces to the people that she pledges an equal alliance with Van, which includes supporting him if he allies with her, and he will not have to worry about an invasion by Count Ferdinato's knights. She also promises to inform the kingdom's nobles that Lord Van is her close friend. Van agrees, as this is an opportunity that won't come again. And thus, the anime episode ends. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive all new updates.